This is part 3 of the introduction to the QuadLugs system. In part 2, we went through drilling the holes into the motor arm lugs. That's been completed. Before we start putting this together, we have to drill a few more holes, and I've already completed them, but they're in the motor arm lugs. And the best way to do this, I've found, I mean, you can go through the sides or the bottom, and I've found that going through the bottom is more than adequate to hold these on, and it works very, very well. And there's a place right here, actually a little bit of an indentation where when these are being manufactured, it's used to push these out of the mold. And there's actually a center point. So drilling here is really simple. You just line your bit up on the center and drill it through. Very, very easy. The good thing about this is after this is constructed, if you decide to tear it down and rebuild it into something else, and that's the unique part about this, you can. And you can make it smaller, bigger, it's pretty much up to you. The holes are all drilled, and so that part of this is non-existent when you rebuild it, so it makes it much faster even. But anyway, we're ready now, and on this particular body, it's 7 by 4 inch wood that's being used. So let's get started here. We're going to go ahead and get one arm. We slide it on. One other item also is that these are the, and let me get this a little bit closer here. These arms, these pan and deck supports come in 2 pieces, and I've already glued them together. But a quick look at it is that there's indentions and already built in it so that they fit together. You can use this single if you do not want to have the deck on the machine or on the multi-rotor, and that's this part right here. Let me back this up. So if you're going to build it and not have this on, and put your ESCs here and your controller in the middle, well, then you really don't need this deck part. The deck part. So you could just use just the bottom. But I've found that using the deck part gives a good separation and gives you a lot of room in here. So anyway, it's very easy to glue these. You just put a little glue on there, and I'm using CA, and you fit it together and you can't go wrong. I mean, they're marked and they're notched, so they go together, and it takes just a couple seconds and they're glued up for you. And CA works very, very well with the ABS. So anyway, we have this on, and let's go ahead and put one white and then one red. And then we'll put the other one on. And if you noticed, this side here obviously is the center, and this is going to be going to your landing gear. And we'll put that on, put the white in the front, because that's how I'm choosing to do it. Just make sure it's pushed in. And put the red in the back, make sure it's pushed in. And we have one side ready to go. So let's go ahead and do the other side. And check the orientation, because they have to go like this, because you'll see in a minute where they connect. And we'll put that on, and we'll go ahead and do this and put the other pan and deck support on, and we'll put the red one on, and we'll put the other arm on. And let's get that. Okay. And then we'll put the other red 90 on. And this here is there's a reinforcement connector here between the two, and it really makes things work well. It stiffens it up really good. But anyway, this goes on. We'll make sure it's pushed all the way in. We'll put our 4-inch pieces on, and again, you know, this is the neat thing about this. If you wanted this to be wider, you just have a bigger piece of wood and it becomes wide. I just put one together. It has, the bed is 10 inch by 10 by 8 inch, and that's usable deck. And I used the same arm length, so these are 7 inch also, and that thing flies great. I mean, really, really good. So you can really increase your load capability in area, you know, just by putting bigger wood. Or if you wanted this to be an H, easy done, just make it a little bit longer. I'm gonna go ahead and line these up. And what I'm doing is lining up this reinforcement piece and then this, and get it all together and then start pushing it together. Let's see, sometimes it's, and let's get this lined up. There we go. And we'll push it together. And just make sure everything's pushed. And there we go. There we go. There we go. And you know, it's starting to shape up pretty quick, isn't it? It's fast. And like I said, once this is put together, you pull out some screws. You can do whatever you want. You pull out these 2 screws, these 2, change this, and you know, put your new bed in, and you got, you know, you have a brand new machine or a different machine. And let's go ahead and get the feet on, and just make sure it's all pushed in really well. And we'll go ahead and fit this in that receptor, and we'll get this one on. And we'll make sure this is fit in. Oh, backwards. I guess you can go so fast you can get the colors backwards, although you can do it if you wanted. Okay, and we're putting these 2. Just as fast this thing is going together. It's amazing. Once you do 1 or 2 of these, or you tear it down once and put it back, it's just crazy easy to do. There you are with your landing gear on. And it's getting closer and closer. Okay. Now when it comes to the arms, we want to just make sure that the arms are pushed in well here. Let's see. There we go. Make sure the arms are pushed in well here, and you'll feel it when it goes in. And then we're going to put the motor mounts on. That's one. Once again, make sure it's pushed in. Put the motor mount on. Make sure it's pushed in well. Put the motor mount on. Making sure it's pushed in well. Put the motor mount on. Just as fast as it's going together. Now, I always like to, you know, get it put together like this to dry fit it. And the material we give you, this the pan. You may have to trim it a little bit. You have to get it put together. You can see if it needs to be trimmed. Sometimes we need to trim the side or the length a little bit. We try to give you enough to where, you know, you can have a nice tight fit. So it gives you that ability to trim it. And this one is fitting very, very good. And there we go. And then just pull it together and make sure it's nice and tight. And there we are. Just as fast this thing is going together. Now you can move, you know, the arms in different, you could do this if you wanted to. I mean, you can move it. But I had designed this one to go all the way to the end. And, you know, that's the way we're doing this. But the wonderful part about this, the neat part about this, is that you can design, you can determine what size this thing is, what size the body is. It's unique. It allows you to go wider, longer, and it depends on what you're going to be hauling with it, how much gear you're going to be putting on it, and just your preference. But you can determine this, and it's excellent. Now, I put my gimbal on the front here, and we have a couple items coming out to install the gimbal. This comes off, you take this screw and this screw off, and this end comes off. And the body of the gimbal fits here. And you can move it from machine to machine. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's not slung underneath, it's in front. It works very, very well. But if you choose to do something that's hanging down lower, you can make these as long as you want. It's obvious, you know, it's gonna increase the width of your foot print. But that's good, because the higher it gets, the wider the footprint, the more easier and the better landings you're going to have. It's not going to want to tilt over on you. So all that's determined by you. So it's really, really unique in what you can do with it. And the thing about it is that once this is built and you fly it and you decide you want something a little bit different, you can do it. You just tear it apart and redo it. And I think you can see how easy this goes together. It's just, it's really simple. If you wanted to haul it somewhere, you can actually take it apart, transport it, and put it all back together. Or you know what, build another one when you went. I mean, it's when you get there, it's just really neat how this thing works. So anyway, this is ready for this. I'm going to go ahead and shoot some screws into here, and that's just to keep it nice and tight. We make sure everything is good here, and with the pan in, it makes for a real nice setup. We ship different screws. We have, you know, the screws for the arms, and we have some 1/4" screws for the decking and the pan material, and we have 5/8 screws for where they go through the QuadLugs here into 1/2" wood, and then we have some 3/8 to also you can use for the pan and deck support, and we'll get to that in a second. But what I like to do is go ahead and drill a quick pilot hole. It doesn't have to be very much. It doesn't have to be very deep. Just something to give the screw, you know, a little bit of ease in biting. And we'll go ahead and get this done. And just as you're doing it, if you would, just make sure that, you know, everything stays together and nothing's moving. And that's the reason I like to go ahead and put the feet on it. And, you know, that way it holds together real well. I'm just pushing down. I'm pushing down on it a little bit with this hand here, just to keep it nice and steady. And it keeps everything from moving. And then you can always keep an eye on it and see if anything is spreading out on you. And just this fast, again. So we'll go ahead and, I'm gonna go ahead and drive these in with the driver here. And again, this is the 5/8 screws. You really can't go wrong. You're gonna basically use only 2 screws on 2 different size screws on this. Although we give you 3 different sizes, and we give you some extras. So, you know, that's one thing that's always bothered me is, you know, you need a couple extra screws and you don't have them. So we put enough in there. The nice part about this too is everything but the quads themselves, I mean the lugs themselves, is you know, you can get these, you can get everything. You can get the wood, you can get the screws. It's nothing that's, you know, special that's going to give you a fit trying to find. And what we're doing here, we're putting this thing together really fast. The videos are a little bit long, and you know, I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to give everyone a real-time look at putting these together, because it is truly unique in that you can make it what you want, the shape you want. You know, if we wanted this to be square, I mean, I could go 7 by 7 or, you know, 5 by 5, or, you know, the neat part about it is that you can build this thing to what you want. Now, you know, we put screws in it, you know, so we can take it back apart. If you like something and you want to make it permanent, if you use thin CA, you're never getting it apart. It's incredible how well that works with this. But anyway, there we go on that. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for the feet, because this is nothing more than what we're doing right there. I can show you one of them, and it's a pretty simple setup. And there you go. And I'm putting mine in. It's a little bit harder to do these. I'm putting them where they're inside instead of outside on this, and I just wanted to do this on this one, so see what that would look like. I normally put them outside to outside, but you know, it's cool. Let's see what it looks like. Anyway, here we go on this, and this is starting to set up really well. Now, what we need to do at this particular time is we'll go ahead and put these in. This is really, really easy too. We're going to get the 9/16 or 9/64, I'm sorry, 9/64 bit. And once again, as in the last part 2 video, is that this part here is going to be used as a bit guide. So we're going to go ahead and use it now, make sure it's pushed in all the way. And so make sure this is pushed in all the way. And we're going to go ahead and use this as a bit guide, and we're going to drill these. And see, it works out really well. And like I said, I always like to, you know, run this back through to get the debris out. Makes it a little bit easier going in. So we'll make sure this is pushed in. You don't have to worry about hurting this stuff. You can put it down like that and really push on it. We'll use this as a bit guide again. Just push it through, and we'll remove it. And again, we're going to clean out the debris. Sorry for the mess here. There we go. And the only thing I'm doing there is cleaning out the debris in the hole, and then we'll make sure that's pushed in, and we'll drill that through. Make sure the debris out. We're going to do the same thing on the last one here. That's not the way to do it, by the way. That's the way to do it. Use it as a bit guide. There we go. Pretty amazing. It works really well. Now we're going to go ahead, and these are nuts with nylon. The nylon inserts, and you know, acts as a lock washer. So we're ready to drill through the body now. So we want to make sure that these are in the position you want, and you know, whether it's all the way out, or all the way out, or however you want. Just make sure, you know, that's where you want it. This is a kit that we call a modified H. okay, that we call the modified H. And you can see how they're pushed back a little bit, the arms. They're not all the way to the end, they're back. So you need to, when you do this one or you're putting this one together, you need to measure these back and put them on. So that they're consistent from one to the other, or move it to wherever you want it to. This is an extremely good flying machine here too. It's actually my favorite. So anyway, we're ready to start drilling this. So we'll just make sure these are in the position that we want them in. Again, we'll hold it there, the 9/64 bit, and this is again gonna act as a bit guide. So we go ahead and just let it drill on through, and there we're through. And we're gonna go ahead and remove it. There we go. You have to get all the debris out of it. I mean, the sawdust, the wood particles. And we'll get that out. There we go. And this one is ready to go. And let's go ahead and get the others drilled. Again, make sure it's where it needs to go. And go ahead and put this in, hold it down, and use it as a bit guide again. And we're through. And again, we'll go ahead and make sure the debris is out. There we go. And we'll go ahead and again make sure this is pushed where it needs to be. And we'll hold it in place and we'll drill it. And again, we'll clean out the debris. And we'll go ahead and make sure this one's where it needs to be. And hold it. There we go. We'll go ahead and clean the debris in this one. There we go. And now we're ready to start putting on the arms. What I'm gonna go ahead and do before I do that, and you can do it now or you can do it afterwards. You can just flip it over and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and screw these motor arm lugs on, or motor mount lugs, I'm sorry. I just make sure they're flush, hold it down, and you can do this without the pilot hole, but I tell you this, you don't have to go all the way through with the pilot hole, but it works a lot better. It's just makes it better. It's easier, plain easier. So we'll go ahead and move this out of the way. And we'll put that flush here. We're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of a pilot hole. We're gonna do the same on the others. And we're gonna go ahead and put that flush. Pilot hole. We'll make sure this one's flush. We have some different motor mounts coming out, and they're should be out toward the end of this month, January. And they're adjustable motor mounts, and they're pretty unique. And I'm just gonna say that much about it, and then I'll post a video whenever that we do have them ready for delivery, and let you see how unique they are. pretty interesting what you'll be able to do with them. And I'll have another video like I was saying when that comes out. And also along with that is our swivel motor mount for the Tri-Copter, and I'll have that out also about the same time, and we'll do some videos on that. So this is ready, and it's very good. So we'll go ahead and we have this drilled out, so let's go ahead and we'll put a nut down here in the receptor. It fits down in there like that. Hold it with your finger, and we'll put the red one here, and we'll go ahead and put that in and get it started. And I normally run red for the front of mine, and that's just how I do. And on this particular one, I'm running 60 degree on the front, 45 on the back, and so and 6 degrees from this point, 60, I'm sorry, from this point. So I'm gonna pull back 30 this way. That's 15, 30. And I'm gonna tighten it down. And of course, you know, you can run any size you want to be the front. So but this is just the way I do. So let me go ahead and again put the nut in. There we go. And do a balancing act there with my thumb and hold that. I normally do these by hand. I like it to have a feel for where they're at. And again, we want 30 this way or 60 back this way, so 15, 30. That's what makes it neat about this. The modified H I just showed you, I'm running 60 and 60. And I tell you what, it's it flies incredible. So you can really do some experimentation on these motor arms, and I think you're going to be quite surprised that with you having the ability to do that and having the ability of different body sizes, what kind of flight performance you can get out of these things. It's amazing. And you know what, it's pretty interesting, and it's to be able to try different things. And that's the ability I wanted when I designed this. And I tell you, it's really nice to be able to do that. And also what I wanted when I designed it is the ability to make the bodies however big I wanted or however small I wanted. You don't have to live with what somebody else decided they wanted you to have. So on this, I'm gonna run 45. So it's 15, 30, 45. And we'll tighten this down. Now I snug these right now, and then I'll tighten them down a little bit more when I get ready to fly. Or, you know, when I finish up rather. And you don't have to be, you know, really crazy tight with these. I mean, you know, they have to be tight, but you don't have to be all torqued down like crazy, because the way these are made, they lock in pretty good when you tighten them down to a reasonable degree. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one started. And this thing is coming together this fast. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And what's really good about it, and I say it too many times, I guess, but is that you can change this anytime you want. In just as fast, you can make this thing, this multi-rotor, you know, 1.5 feet long. You can change your angles. You can make it, you know, 8-10 inches wide. I mean, it's crazy what you can do with this. Again, 45 here. That's 45. You know, if you were running this as an H, you know, you could try it and, you know, have it at your 90-degree angle, and then This could be the same, although you'd have to increase your body size. But it's just amazing what you can do with this, the freedom that you have. And these can be changed, as you see, within, I say, you know, within a minute, and that may be a long time actually. Because all you have to do is loosen this screw up, move it to where you want, tighten it back down. So I may be exaggerating the time. Okay, there we are, we're locked in there. Now, the next thing we're going to do is the holes we drilled here, we're going to go ahead and punch them through with our 1/16 inch bit. And we're going to secure down our, secure our pan. And that really locks this whole multi-rotor together. So let's put that through. Now, whenever you go in here, you can kind of feel around to grab the other, there it goes, to grab the hole that you had pre-drilled on the other side. And if you move the bit just a hair bit, you'll feel it go on it through there. And then what I'm going to do, and it makes it a little bit easier, is that I'm going to go ahead and put a screw in here. And that way it kind of holds things in place. And here we go. And tighten it up pretty good. It doesn't have to be really, really tight right now, just enough to keep everything in line. Now what I'm doing, I'm holding this pan underneath with my hand right here, just to give it some support while I drill this through. And we'll do this on the opposite side, and that we put this one in, we'll put this one in next, and we get, makes it a little bit easier for the rest of them. So we start drilling through, don't press too hard, and there we go. We went through the other hole. Now, this does a really good job of locking it all together. And like I said, it gives the ability to pull it back apart and to rebuild it in a different configuration. We're getting really close to being done. And that's just how fast this works. And you know, the procedure is the same if you're building this one, which is 7x4, or if you're building one like I did, the 10x8. It's the same thing. So it's just as fast. So it's pretty neat how this works. And now we're going to kind of pull it a little bit tight. The reason I like to do this by hand, because if you have a hefty enough drill, which I try not to use because, you know, it starts stripping things out, is that it'll pull straight through here. You're threading into this nylon, this glass reinforced nylon, and it's tough. It will actually pull it through. So just be careful with that. And we're ready to do another one here. And again, we're using a 1/16 inch bit. And just kind of take it easy going through, and you'll feel it when it catches or goes through the other hole. We'll get it pulled out. And I'm gonna go ahead and drill this one. There we go. Okay. And we'll get this one started. And I'll finish these by hand. And our pan is secured now. And let me tell you, it is secured. So there you go. And all but the screws here and here on your landing gear, she's pretty much done. I don't normally screw these in. You can shoot them through here. I normally, when I put the deck on, that usually, that'll hold it together, and it works well. And that simply goes on here. I normally, and we'll have another part 4 here, and we're going to do the electronics and mount the motors. I've been using the Hobby King Quad, and I tell you what, I really love that thing. It's simplicity. It makes it really quick and easy to put the ESCs in. It's just one unit with all of them built in. Although you can have your 4 ESCs, put them here, or you can put them in here, or you can put them on the arms if you want. But this is really unique on how this works. So they're hidden here if you want to. Then you have room to put other equipment here and here. Now if you want to, this wood here is accessible. We furnish it this way, but excuse me, it's accessible in quite a few of your hobby shops, actually probably all of your hobby shops. And this piece can be mounted this way if you want to, but you can actually get a longer piece and have the pan and deck the same size, and you have a tremendous amount of room. Or you can cut this down and you can move these to one side or the other, and you can trim this off, and you have just enough for your controller. If you want to put your controller up there, and you open up more room here to put whatever you wanted to in that area. So I mean, again, it's up to you what you want to do. What I normally do when I screw this on, and we'll do this in the next in our part 4 after we put our ESC in and everything, is that I normally go here and measure, set this down where I'm going to put these where I want them first, and put this on it, mark my center here and here, and go ahead and draw me a reference line. And you can, if you want to, these can be mounted underneath like this too if you wanted to. So again, that's up to you on how you want to do this. I normally put them on top. If you put them at the bottom, I suggest this way. I suggest putting the holes here in this area right here, and drill here, here, and here to hold it. If you're putting it on top, I suggest putting the holes here, and I use the 3/8 screws, and it gives you a good bite into this area right here, and it's in this part right here where it's not going to be hitting any kind of electronics. If you're going to be putting them in here, we also give you some 1/4 inch and to go into this area right here where it doesn't protrude from the bottom to hurt any electronics. Also, if you're building this and you're building it longer, you have this area here, and this is the same size as this. So you can actually put pieces in here when you're putting it together, and it actually reinforces these sides. So if it's longer, you have now reinforcement on the sides to keep this one from twisting. You now have 2, and it works really, really well. Anyway, this concludes this part, and I just want to say thanks for watching it, and I'll get part 4 out here with the electronics being installed and the deck going down, and pretty much we'll be wrapped up. And putting the battery mount on it. So thank you for watching, and please visit us at QuadLugs.com and take a look at what we have. And I think you're truly going to like it if you decide to purchase one, and we hope you do. And thank you very, very much for watching this, and subscribe. Thank you.